Our top story tonight, some going down in November.
Wars, spending.
There has got to be something big a-brewing.
They're using geese to guard prisons in Brazil.
Does Biden know what Mexico is?
Would you scare Joe Biden?
What are we laughing at?
I think Billy Mays was real.
I'm a world-class skeptic.
I don't know anything about Hunter Biden. I don't know who's big into cocaine and laptops. Why is that our problem? Complete, absolute incompetence.
Like, who funds the news?
It's a freaking inside job, man. That the entire world's a stage and everything's fake.
Welcome back to another episode of the Veritas Road. Carson and Murph back with you. Before we get started, please follow our Twitter account. It got blown up for the phishing and the spamming and whatever else these little monkey elves do online. These little kids.
Oh, you want me to get started? There's
The kids.
farming. There's social engineering.
Yeah, what else do they do? Yeah.
I just learned about farming with the pH today. I don't remember what
With
it
the
was.
pH?
Yeah, man.
Like
That's how you know.
like acidity?
Dude, that's how you know it's dangerous. It's not with an F, because that's what you do with, like...
Oh, farming with a pH.
Yeah.
Not like,
Yeah.
okay.
That's how you spell fishing.
Like PHARMING. Farming with a pH.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's something... That's
When you said
internet.
pH, I thought of like acid versus base type
Dude,
stuff.
now you're making it boring.
Yeah, I'm
All right,
sorry.
let's move on to something else. Follow our Twitter.
Yeah, please follow our Twitter. All of our links are on there. If you're on YouTube or Rumble, all of our links should be in the description, so just give it a follow. Yeah, outside of that, is there anything else we need to talk about right now?
No.
Cool. So tonight we're going to talk about not the history of NASA, even though that's what we teased.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the...
Well, it's kind of history of NASA. Good grief, man. Are
So, I'm falling
you
apart.
huffing and puffing in
Yeah.
the bathroom?
We
fools?
started this, and I immediately just felt like right out the gate. So we're gonna be talking about the context and history of NASA. Is that a better description for what we're gonna talk about?
Yeah. There's going to be some history of NASA in there, but it's
Yeah.
a much broader. And you'll see when we go through it.
Yeah.
Dude, do we need to cut this? Are you all right? Do we need to come back tomorrow?
We might need to try again later.
Did you get injected with like rabies and AIDS?
I got my booster today. Yeah, that's what it
you-
was. I got
Do
boosted.
they still do those?
Oh yeah, yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh, dude.
For the record, I didn't actually get a booster. For anybody panicking, I don't get those. Yeah, they still do those. Those are real popular amongst the older crowd.
No, of course they are.
You got to be safe. Get your booster. John, are you boosted?
I'm not.
I can't be
not
near you
safe.
then. You're not safe. Are you boosted?
I plead the fifth on all questions like that.
Well, I'm boosted.
Okay.
Boosted up.
Well, I think that explains your coughing. All right, I had an idea
All
for
right.
this episode
Okay.
because you didn't do your little things,
I didn't.
and I
Just
didn't.
call me out right here, right now.
Well, I was fixing to call myself out as well. I mean, you were infecting it to me. My throat's starting to get a little dry.
It's something in the air in here, I swear.
Yeah, is there asbestos?
What happened?
Popcorn ceiling, which is that it's the same thing as
Popcorn.
asbestos?
No. That's a pattern of like mud on drywall.
We had that growing up in our house, popcorn ceilings.
Nice.
It makes me think of being a kid.
All right.
So so we're gonna go around the room. There's 3 of us here in this room. So, dude,
You can count. Good job.
well, it's some people can't. Some people are listening to this and they don't know. It could be first time listeners.
It's true.
So don't patronize me or our audience. And we're gonna go. And the first thing on our mind, what do you think of when you think of NASA? So
All right.
you start us off, and we'll
All
go
right.
to John, and then we'll go to me. How about that?
First thing I think of NASA, spaceships, the color white, pools, faking the moon landing, astronauts, actors, the moon, Huntsville, Alabama, Cape Canaveral. Is there anything related to NASA in Cape Canaveral? I don't know why. I just think of Cape Canaveral.
I think so. I'm pretty sure isn't that where they
Is that where one of the launch sites is?
Carnival cruise ships or something?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
I think that those are the things I think. Like, if I was going to do like a word association with NASA, that's what would come to mind first
Nice.
off.
That's a pretty good sign. All right,
That's
John.
pretty honest.
John?
For some reason, I think of the movie Spaceballs.
All right, that doesn't make any sense, but okay.
That's the
You
first
know
thing
what?
that
Hey,
comes to
I
my
appreciate
head.
your honesty.
I personally despise that movie and don't think it's that funny. That may be a very unpopular opinion,
It's pretty unpopular.
but bite me, okay? Freaking 21 Jump Street is hilarious.
That's also
and,
a very
and,
funny
and
movie.
people falling down, it never gets old to me. All right, so when I think of NASA,
What do you think of?
I think of leathery gay dildos and rainbow Hulk Hogan clones that are old. Because that's what NASA is, dude. It's just a bunch of gay old men.
All right.
And we're going to talk about it tonight.
Okay. That was a little just in your.
I'm just
yeah.
being
You sounded like
honest.
me there for a little
I'm just
bit.
being honest.
Yeah, I'm
There
kind of
is-
proud of you.
It's NASA is one of the most gayest things in the world.
Leathery gay dildos. Bunch of leathery gay old men. Brother! Sup, brother? Got a giant dildo, brother? You imagine Hulk Hogan saying that?
He's dead.
Do you want to imagine Hulk Hogan saying that?
He's dead, apparently.
Yeah. That's probably what they put on his casket. Leathery dildos.
Probably. There's no telling what he got into.
There's not. I mean, well, the WWE's like hard on your body, allegedly.
All the steroids they do.
All the steroid, but also like all the jumping around and like fake hit. It's like getting hit with chairs. Like it's sure it's fake, but it's like I'm sure that still hurts. You
Do
know?
they not have like fake chairs? Is it real wooden chairs?
No, I mean I'm sure there are chairs built to like collapse. But like even like if I hit you in the head, like they make fake bottles that you can hit people with. Those still hurt when you get hit with them. Like it doesn't feel
Well,
good.
I guess so.
Is my point. And they're still like jumping off of ropes and. So,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I've never seen one WWE event ever. I don't
Me either.
understand the appeal. Like and I think it still happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, it's still like a big thing.
that's wild to me. Is it on ESPN?
I don't know. What is John? What you?
John's
you were
collapsing,
just
too.
faffing over there. What is ESPN on? Do you know? That seems like something you would know. Or
Channel 32.
ESPN is on ESPN.
It should be
what is the WWE on? Does anybody know that?
I have no
What
fucking
network?
clue.
I know. Actually, it's on Peacock sometimes.
Oh, see, you're holding out on.
I noticed that when I forgot about. I noticed that when I watched soccer. WWE is on Peacock a little bit, which I think it's ironic not to just very obviously push things in one direct, but like WWE fakes a lot of stuff, NASA fakes a lot of stuff. Oh, how did we end up here?
I like it, man. You know, dude, NASA owns like the biggest like green screen facility in the world in like Louisiana, and it's like the size of like, you know, out in like Lewisburg when you go to the drive-in theater.
Yeah.
It's like 25 of those, like stitched together. It's humongous, man. And they got
What is their reason for saying they need that?
training. I don't know.
Training?
I don't know. I just
Oh,
pulled
you're
that.
guessing.
Yeah, I don't know what the official reason is. They rent it out apparently to film people that film. Movie makers also
Like porn stars or what?
no, like George Lucas.
I thought you were gonna say George Floyd.
Probably him too. Probably him too, man. Because we can't breathe tonight. Carson can't. I'm starting to not be able to breathe.
I'm falling apart.
So perhaps injustice was done to us.
Jeez.
That's not what we're supposed to talk about tonight. You brought it up.
I did. That's my fault.
All right, so we should start somewhere with this timeline, okay?
Yeah.
And here's where we're going to start.
With World War II.
No.
Oh.
Way
That's a good guess.
before that.
Oh.
Nimrod.
That's a long time ago. So like the biblical Nimrod.
The biblical Nimrod.
He was a mighty warrior before the Lord. That's all I know about him.
Yeah, so John, will you pull that you pull up his where'd my Bible? Will you pull up the Wikipedia article? And I had a Bible right here. I was counting on it being here. Now I see it not.
Where did it go?
I don't know.
I don't see it.
Check the
Check the hole.
Goldfish?
There are two holes.
There's
and
nothing
then
in the hole.
The table is a lift top, so I don't know if Carson or one
Oh,
of y'all can
oh.
carefully lift the table.
Oh, I dropped
without-
a cast iron
Oh.
plane on my foot. That hurt. there's a. I
This
should.
might be a disaster.
Ooh, dude. All right, don't worry about it. Screw that. John, will you
It's
pull
not
up?
in there.
Will you pull up Genesis 10 verses 8 through 12, as well as the Wikipedia article? Sorry,
Where did this Bible go?
I don't know. I thought it would be here because it was last time, but it's not. It's okay. Ooh, somebody had the caps lock on.
Somebody did.
All right. So Genesis 10, 8 through 12.
Yeah, just
Is this the verse about Nimrod?
yeah.
That was a dumbass thing for me to say.
No,
Is this
man.
the verse about the thing you were just talking about?
This verse is about I don't know, freaking I don't even know. All right.
All right. So, you want me to read it?
Oh yeah, you have a better reading.
Okay.
voice than
So, I don't tonight. Cush beget Nimrod. He began to be a mighty warrior on the earth, or mighty one on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore, it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel. Erech. What does that say? Erech?
me. Yeah, erect. You know.
Erech?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, yeah. Like what? Like what
Okay.
we're thinking.
Akkad, Calneh, in the land of Shinar. From that land he went to Assyria and built Nineveh. Rehoboth Jr., not Junior.
Junior? No, it is not white people, man. These are not like us.
Rehoboth Kala, and Rezin. Between Nineveh and Kala, that is the principal city.
Dude, these are like Middle Easterners, right? It's Kalah.
Yeah.
You got to go Kalah.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta have
Nineveh. All right, let me try these
Yeah.
names again. Rehoboth, Kala, and Rezin. Between Nineveh and Kala. How was that? Was that better?
much better. So,
All right.
so basically, this guy, I don't believe he was like Shem or Ham. Ham's like great grandson or something. So he's not too far removed from Noah.
Yeah.
All right, I've looked up he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. I don't know. The before the Lord, like the word before, I've read a bunch of stuff where like that word could mean like in opposition to or like in the face of the or like opposing the Lord. You know what I'm trying to say? Like
Okay. So like a mighty hunter against the Lord,
right,
kind of?
right. Because I think I don't know what what does the KJV say, John? Can you switch it up there real quick? Because I feel like through various translations you can like get a word.
Be in the K's, John.
Good grief! Yeah, there we go.
And
All
hit
right.
The search button.
Yep, there we go.
He began to be a mighty one on
Oh,
the
yeah.
earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's just the idea that like he's in opposition to the Lord. He's against the face of the Lord. Kind of. You see where that's coming from?
I
Right?
mean, yeah, I have no real context for knowing if that's true
that's
or
an
not.
opinion out there,
Yeah.
and even if you go to the Wikipedia article, John, like Wikipedia kind of sums it up in just the first. Oh gosh, just the first little bit here. I typed it down to avoid this.
Okay.
I'll read it here. Biblical and non-biblical traditions identify Nimrod as a ruler associated with the Tower of Babel. Jewish, Christian, and Islamic accounts vary, portraying him as a tyrant who led builders, turned people from God, and opposed Abraham, even attempting to unsuccessfully kill him by fire. Over time, legends identified him with other figures, blah, 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 blah.
Okay. So
So,
he was a bad guy.
a bad guy. Even Wikipedia admits it.
Okay.
A few interesting things to point out here. I don't. He's in Dante's Inferno.
Where? I don't
you're
remember
aware-
that.
Well, it's the Divine Comedy. It might not be Inferno. There's two other ones.
It would make sense for him to be an Inferno.
Yeah. Well, he's depicted as a chained giant.
Yeah, that would be in Inferno. I'm
So-
pretty sure.
That's interesting, right there. So he was one of the Nephilim,
Yeah.
right?
Was he?
Well, I mean, if he's a mighty one on the earth, right? So that kind of sounds like the language in Genesis 6.
Yeah.
He's depicted as that in the Inferno. And also, when you think of Nimrod, it's like a really dorky way of saying a fool,
Yeah.
and it's pretty foolish to oppose God. You could, maybe that's... could
Yeah,
be
but
a-
I've always wondered where the term came from.
Well,
And the guy that talks about it in the Bible sounds like kind of a, badass yoke dude. But in that context, it makes sense.
Right, I'm trying to portray him as he's not like... As a mighty hunter before the Lord is not a good thing.
Yeah.
So
Because it sounds like a good thing when you say it in that
Right.
language.
Right, exactly. And perhaps that is
I think that's on purpose.
potentially. I'm leaving that up for the...
Listener to decide.
Correct. If I could understand the Septuagint and read Hebrew, I would. If Michael Heiserhunt had died, I would love to know. Maybe he's even got a video on this. I don't know what he would think of that verse. But anyway,
Yeah.
moving on. John, if you'll go back to the verse real quick, just want to point out a few more things so we can move on into the timeline here.
Yeah.
So he built a bunch of stuff, man, and even the Bible says the beginning of his kingdom was Babel. All right, so Babel's super famous,
Right.
Tower of Babel. You know what Babel means? Do you know what that means?
I used to. I don't remember.
You know, a lot of people think, oh, Babel just means like crazy talk or baby talk, you know, unintelligible talk,
Yeah.
and be like, oh, the Tower of Babel's called that because God confused everybody's languages. That's kind of what's implied when you learn that story in church.
Right.
But Babel actually means gateway of God or gateway to God.
Which makes sense,
Right.
given what they were building it for.
Exactly. So that's setting the context of NASA. It goes all the way back to this ancient king. And think about it, man. Like, God did confuse their languages because, you know, according to the Bible, the thing was like, not the Bible, Jubilees. No, Jasher. Well, it's either Jasher or Jubilees. I can't remember right now. I've had way too much coffee in the 3 years since I've looked at this. But the Tower of Babel was like 8,000 feet tall, and you know, it took like 40 days for them to get the bricks from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
And God and the you know, the Jews would say Adonai, whatever his name is. I'm not, you know, I literally mean that. You don't know his name. I'm not trying to sound like sacrilegious or anything.
I get it.
Like, he was like, oh, they nothing. I think this is even in the Bible. Nothing that they set their sights on
will
be.
Man will be able to accomplish anything
Right.
they try to do.
Which is a
Currently.
weird thing for like the all-powerful God to say, right?
Yeah.
So why would if
Yeah,
they-
I remember that verse. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah.
I remember that verse. It almost sounds like it almost sounds sacrilegious to say, but it almost sounds like God's worried about what man's gonna do. Like if man's gonna be able to like kind of be on the same footing as God, like legitimately oppose him and concern him.
Yeah.
Is the way it comes across in the Bible, and people don't talk about that in modern Christian because it sounds sacrilegious. But that's the way it comes across, the way I read it.
Yeah, man, and me too. I don't understand how there's any other way not to read it. Again, we're no Hebrew and Greek experts in Septuagint or whatever, but the idea that we're told is like the reason, and there is some truth to this, I'm sure, but the reason that God hated it is because he's not doing what they say. They gathered in one place.
Yeah.
They didn't spread out. I'm sure there is some truth to that. But in the broader context, especially given what we're going to talk about going forward with NASA,
Yeah.
he probably was worried, and given the meaning, the actual etymology of Babel, that they were trying to get to him. They were trying to build their way up, literally into heaven, and get to him. In modern Hebrew cosmology, Earth is a plane. There's a big dome on top. God lives in the highest heaven. The Empyrean heaven, the seventh layer, whatever, right? I might be saying that wrong. Empyrean, whatever, however you say it.
I don't know.
That's like the highest heaven where God lives in Hebrew cosmology, and God seems to be worried, or Elohim. Is that, hey, can we pull that verse up and see if it's Elohim or if it's capital Lord, just for curiosity? Because Elohim, you know, is Genesis, and I don't think Lord appears till like when Abraham's talking to God, I think, or maybe it's Noah.
Oh yeah, and then there are all those people who think it's a different entity.
Right.
Yeah. Before, is it before or after Noah, or is
I can't
Moses,
remember. I
or is
think it's Noah.
Abraham? I can't remember.
Or maybe it's even in the garden. Elohim appears like 33 times.
It's going to take a while for us to figure this out.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
I do want to know in the Tower of Babel what is it? That's Genesis 11. The Tower of Babel's in Genesis 11. NKJV or NSAB or whatever. It's an older one. There we go. That'll work.
Hit the search bar, John.
Yeah, you got to refresh it.
No, that's NIV still, John.
Yeah, we need the thous and these. Okay, so it is the Tetragrammaton.
All right.
So it is like the Yahweh who's concerned that nothing's gonna hinder him. So what does he do? He confuses our languages. We know the story. They can't work because everybody don't know what each other's saying. They're fighting, and I think again it's either Jubilees or Jasher. God destroys like 2/3 of the tower and like 1/3 of it's left on the plains of Shinar, wherever the heck that is.
All right.
So that's the context for what we're fixing to talk about.
Which is wild considering we're talking about NASA.
Yeah. No, I'll connect it. Believe me.
Okay.
Believe me, man. And the events surrounding the events and context surrounding the founding of NASA, because that kind of makes it weird. So, are you familiar what happened in 1908?
World War One?
No.
Okay.
No, gosh, no. World War One was like way after, like 1917 or something.
Yeah, so I don't actually know when World War One was.
So this guy named Ernest Shackleton, it was an English guy, I believe. He goes on an expedition to Antarctica, and you know what this is called? The Nimrod expedition to Antarctica.
All right.
Now, Ernest Shackleton was a Freemason. I wrote it down here for you fact checkers. Navy Lodge number 2612. He joined on July 9th, 1901. This is confirmed. He's a Freemason. Okay. Now, this guy was one of the first explorers down there. Obviously, it's like way harder. I don't think they had like wooden ships. Maybe it was steel reinforced, but it ain't like the type of ship that we think of now.
It
Yeah.
was 100% been steel reinforced.
Okay.
Thank
Or
heavens we
iron
know that.
reinforced.
Yeah.
I mean, that started in the Civil War, so.
All right. Well,
John's
yeah.
a seafaring man.
That's right. John's the sailor. I should have let him do. You want to take over?
No.
Tell us about the Nimrod, John.
What a
How'd they
bitchy thing for you to say.
How'd they get down there? What about the trade winds? I don't know nothing about the trade winds. The roaring 40s.
John, I
Just
love
making
it.
a point today, we're not
Pureness.
sailing just wooden ships in 19.
Yeah, it wasn't 1442.
Yeah,
I'm just-
it wasn't
The Nina, the
century.
Pinta, and the Santa Maria out
I'm
to
just,
fucking
dude, I'm just messing with
Antarctica.
you. But it isn't. But it's
All right.
also. But I mean, it's not like a freaking icebreaker. Either.
Right,
It's
yeah.
just like nuclear.
It's not the Titanic.
Yeah.
Whenever that was. I don't actually know what the
That
Titanic
was
was.
4 years later in
Yeah, around the
1912.
same time. So
Okay, John, can you go to this? Well, I don't guess you have to.
All right.
The visual.
So we're talking about Ernest Hemingway or whatever his name is, right?
Ernest Shackleton.
Ernest Shackleton.
He
He
leads-
took an expedition to Antarctica
Yeah,
called the Nimrod.
Right. The ship's called the Nimrod. The expedition's called the Nimrod. Now, it's between 1907 and 1909.
Okay.
They land in Antarctica in 1908. So, and I've seen a ton of stuff on this. I don't really have time to, like, verify this. But, you know, ethos, I trust the people that have determined this. There's a couple of them, most notably Rob Skiba. You know how you can, like, you know, there's all these begats in the Bible, and he begat that, and he lived 921 years, and he died, and he had a son at 221. Anyway.
Genesis 10, right?
Right. Genesis 5, there's like 4 chapters of that. Anyway, he's done all the, you know, probably had a spreadsheet and done all the calculations and whatever, and probably made some assumptions about Adam, but he's come up with Nimrod was born in 1908, like Anno Mundi, since the creation.
Okay.
How odd is it that in 1908, you know, year of our Lord, Anno Domini, they set out on this expedition. Keep in mind, to defy the Lord under this context we've been trying to set up, you know, because Nimrod was a defiant against the Lord, and we'll get into why they are defying the Lord, you know, with further things. But
Yeah, I was going to say we don't know that this expedition was yet.
Well,
I'm
it's
assuming
just-
you know something about it.
yeah,
other than the name.
but keep in mind the name is a big part of it, dude.
Yeah.
So Ernest Shackleton, he didn't quite. Their intent, I believe, was to reach the South Pole, but they didn't quite make it. But as a Mason, of course, the farthest he made it. Dadgummit, I didn't write this down. Oh yeah, I did. He reached 88 degrees south.
Okay.
On January 9th, 1909. Yeah. Freemason.
Yeah.
9/11. Trump's 88.
Right.
Trying to set it up as Nimrod being this Antichrist, defying the Lord, leader of Babylon figure. Goes by 10,000 different names in the Tower of Babel since the confusion of the languages.
Right. The numerology's there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, and as a side note, Roald Amundsen was the first guy to reach the South Pole in like 1912 or something, just a little bit later. Also a Freemason. On the Nimrod expedition, there's this crazy book. John, you need to look this up. this is a little bit of a side, but just to show just how further like occulted these guys are. This idea that they're these like brave explorers of pioneering of new lands. I mean, there's probably some truth to it, but that's definitely the cover story. These guys that's the exoteric description of their mission, and there's esoteric purposes for what they're doing, even if they are running around out there in the cold. John, if you'll type in the Nimrod expedition here, is the caps lock still on? Doesn't matter.
What book do you want to look up?
All right, I don't know if I can say it. Aurora Australis, like Northern Lights, but Southern Lights.
Yeah.
But it's a book. It's a book called Aurora Australis. Australis, it's Latin for south.
Yep.
See,
Just
this
type
is
book
why I
after that,
wanted to
John.
go to the article because it. Yeah, there. Okay, so this guy George Marston. Go to the very bottom, or go down some. Section to the bottom section. So there's a bunch of this section part. Bunch of weird names for this stuff. For one.
What is this stuff we're looking at? I don't.
All right,
we
go.
have no context for what we're talking
it's
about.
It's a book. All right, go up. We'll read what it says. Go up, John. Go up to the top.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Aurora Australis is a book comprising stories and poems written by members of the Nimrod expedition. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
To Antarctica, led by Ernest Shackleton. We talked about him, Freemason,
Yeah.
from 1908 until 1909. It was also illustrated, printed, bound on location at their polar base. So while out there freezing in the cold with howling -80 winds, they're painting books. and running around there with ink and dotting their I's and crossing their T's like it's a freaking VBS craft show. Anyway, so
right.
it's like this poetic, weird
Yeah.
storybook.
Right.
Okay, and it's freaking occult if you ask me. Look at anyway, go down to the sections. So there's a bunch of different sections. They got all strange kind of names. It sounds kind of like this epic, almost Iliad-like journey.
There are some weird names. Trials of Messman, a Pony Watch.
Yeah, I mean, what the heck?
Southward Bound.
What the heck? I mean, an interview with an emperor. I thought we were supposed to be out there like freezing our butts off catching walruses or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're doing all this weird stuff. Yeah,
It's poetic and
Alistair Mackey's
artistic.
a Freemason as well.
Oh, I want to talk about the last guy, the very last one right here.
Frank Wild.
No, the last one. There's one after this. Bathibia. Okay. So let's just read. John, can you make that go? All right. A speculative short Bathibia by Douglas Mawson, who is a Freemason.
So this is a short story in the book.
Right. Which appears at first to be another memoir-like account of Antarctica, but which he actually explores an expedition in a fictional world, a hot jungle with red foliage and terrifying spider-like creatures that attack men, giant spiders. But it's just a dream, dude. Just a dream. So my point with all this is weird. Are we going down there to study ice? Or are we writing epic English, like freaking John Locke style, Homer Iliad style crazy books of like Alice in Wonderland on a ship down there?
Beowulf down there.
Right. It's very odd.
Yeah.
That's my point with this. Very odd, very occult. We've already 25 of these. They're all Freemasons.
They do appear to all be Freemasons.
All right. On a ship called the Nimrod, which we have already established, could mean in opposition to the Lord, he's a bad guy in the Bible and subsequent Jewish eschatology. All right. Moving on to the next expedition, really famous expedition in Antarctica. Well, first of all, the Nazis were obsessed with the occult. Right?
All right.
Now, you can just say I'm claiming that, as I'm anticipating you will.
I've always heard that Hitler was obsessed with the occult. Now, I don't know if that's true, personally, but I've always heard that.
Well, there's there's tons and tons and tons, and a never-ending rabbit hole that you could look into with this. Even with the swastika itself, symbolizing the turning of the freaking Big Dipper, is like linked to Vedic India and doesn't have, even the Aryan race is like occulted people from the north and what's it called, John? What do the Greeks call it? Hyperborea. Yeah. These basically German-looking people in the north. Anyway, the Nazis obsessed with all that, dude. constant occult crap going on. So they lead their first expedition to Antarctica in like 1938, 1939 by a guy named, now y'all, you know my pronunciation isn't great, but I'm going to give this justice. Alfred Richter. He's a German. Okay.
Richter.
Yes. See, that was better.
Yeah.
This is why you need to do the accents and the reading. I try. I gave that my best. And they formed this base called New Swabia. So, everybody it's common accepted mainstream fact that the Nazis fled to Argentina through Odessa, and some speculation that Hitler got out of there and he fled to Argentina, even though, is it Soviet propaganda? What happened? Is he actually dead? Who freaking knows? Nobody knows. But the link to Argentina is 100% real, and here's a 100% real link, proving that they went down there. The Germans did. I'm talking about the Germans. To Antarctica.
Okay.
During basically the beginning of the war, at the height of Nazi power, and they took over all Western Europe, essentially. Or Eastern Europe, excuse me. So we got the Germans super interested in Antarctica. We've got English expeditions, 30 years prior with all this weird Beowulf occult stuff.
Yeah.
All based on philosophies from ancient Babylon, essentially. So we're trying to weave ancient Babylon into all of this. So keep this in mind. Next, we've all heard of this guy, Admiral Byrd, famous U.S. pilot.
Yeah.
He the first guy to go to both the North and the South Pole. He flies into the North Pole in like the 20s, maybe. No, 30s. Some point earlier, he flew to the North Pole.
Okay.
And his diary, which has allegedly been lost, he claimed. And, of course, it's just a conspiracy, dude. It's been fact-checked. Snopes has fact-checked it. There's no diary. He never said that he flew into the Earth and encountered civilization called Argartha. He never did that. That's just Snopes said he didn't do it.
It must not be true then.
If
Snopes said it wasn't true.
Snopes and freaking Politico and all that fact-checked it. What do I have to worry about? Why are you bringing that up, Robert? Well, in his diary, he claimed to have flown inside the North Pole and encountered some civilization there. Anyway, this guy heads a operation right after the war for the U.S. military called Operation High Jump. I'm sure you've heard of that. And this is where the names start. All the names are important in these two, man. Operation High Jump. So what do they say about Antarctica? Right, it's the highest average elevated continent in the world, something like 9,000 feet on average. Right, which is freaking high. That's higher than Cleveland's Dome. Cleveland's Dome's like 6,600. So it's higher than anything in Tennessee. It's like freaking Tibetan plateau level tall. Maybe not that tall, but it's really high up there. So you got a high jump. All the pictures we see of these ice shelves, Ross ice shelf. Probably several that I can't pronounce. I can say Ross. They're like 200 and 300 feet tall, just endless, just ice. We've all seen these pictures.
Yeah.
So you got to jump high to get up there is the idea.
Right.
Perhaps that's why they call it Operation High Jump. I mean, this was a gigantic thing. I mean, you can pull up the Wikipedia article if you want to, but they got like freaking fleets of ships, 33 aircraft stuck out to me.
Yeah.
That's how many aircraft went down there.
Sure.
All kinds of different ships, cost freaking millions of dollars in the 40s. It probably costs as much as one package to Ukraine right now, $10 trillion.
Probably.
Just a huge ordeal. To do what, dude? To do what? Penguins? Protect the environment? Keep in mind, this is the 40s. They don't care anything about penguins in the environment at this point. They don't care about lithium ozone and all that. They don't care about freaking ice cores or whatever they say they're doing.
Yeah, we still had lead in our gasoline, and people were smoking
That's
cigarettes
right,
because
dude.
they were healthy.
That's right, dude. You sprayed lead paint everywhere. You bathed in asbestos in the 40s. People were men, right?
And we flooded the streets with aluminum dust.
That's right. That's right, dude. And we shot cannons everywhere. Everyone had a cannon in 1941.
It was America.
That's right. Or a Gatling gun or like a howitzer.
People just walked outside and just shot at their neighbors.
I mean, think of how much better times were, though. I mean,
Yeah.
But anyway, for real, man. This is also another aside, but Vanderbilt is off to their best start since 1941. Vanderbilt is a local Tennessee football team that has been historically absolutely god-awful for like 80 years. When Jesus writes about the end of the world, I'm convinced, and Vanderbilt is in the top 10, you know that the signs of the end are near. That should be in the Bible.
Sports. Yeah.
Anyway,
Football.
Football. So,
Admiral Byrd.
Yeah, Admiral Byrd, Operation High Jump. There's a subsequent operation the year later called Operation Windmill. So the name of that one could be interesting if you think about the Earth potentially being a gigantic toroid, how there's like convergence in the middle and outward, and it's just like a constantly twisting thing. So perhaps the edge, I don't know if, John, can you pull up I'm going to butcher this word, Flammerton engraved, the Flammerton. It's an Italian word, okay? If you just...
Can you spell it?
Dude, it's like asking Hagrid to spell Voldemort, you know? He's like, no, I can't. Just like F.
Can't spell it.
There it is, John Flammarion. Okay.
You were way far.
There's nothing that hard about that. You just said it
that's
fine.
a pretty easy word.
Okay. Anyway, so it's this idea. But imagine like this in 3D, and the edge is moving like at breakneck, extremely fast.
I don't know what you mean by this idea.
Okay. Well, look at the picture.
I see it.
Okay.
John, can you zoom in on the picture? I'm just not sure.
All right. I guess I need to explain myself here. The picture is this guy at the edge of a dome where stars are like inset or under the dome with the sun and the moon.
I see that.
Sticking his head out of the edge of it. Okay, the edge in this context would be Antarctica. There's all kinds of crazy wheels. You know, shout out to our friends at the Nephilim Death Squad and to Ezekiel, our prophet. Our real Jewish prophet, our boy Ezekiel, who describes the wheels within the wheels. Okay, all this.
Shout out to Ezekiel, bro.
That's right, man. He was legit. Anyway, so just imagine this scene, except the dome is moving at essentially the speed of the ISS, 17,500 miles an hour on a superfluid, never-ending motion.
His head's going to get shorn off.
Right. He wouldn't be able to do this. He would lose his head.
Right.
It would be... But that could be the idea behind Operation Windmill. They found the edge. Operation High Jump, set up infrastructure, map the area, determine what resources we're going to need next year when we come back here. Operation Windmill, we find it. But it's a freaking windmill. We go in there, perhaps they knew it already, but we find the edge, we document it or whatever, Just keep in mind all the names are important because we're going to go get to some more. So here's, keep in mind that the U.S. Army is doing this right after World War II, in the immediate aftermath. Right when, we're allegedly championing freedom and setting up Israel, we're also exploring the Antarctica and freezing cold and just wasting millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
All right, so Operation Paperclip, we all know about that, right? That's freaking mainstream. U.S., starting in 45 and into the 60s, are recruiting all these freaking German scientists.
Right.
I think it's up to 1,600 that they say. Who knows how many it actually is? It ain't just von Braun. Von Braun's the most famous one. He's like German's V2 rocket guy, the head engineer. Also huge friends with Walt Disney.
It's not weird.
Yeah, Walt Disney. No, dude. Just think of the dome going over the castle, man.
I know. Yeah.
Club 33 in Disney World, all Freemasons. Freaking heads just like frozen in Disney World, like freaking Vladimir Lenin style. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. This is an aside, but John, I don't know if Wikipedia has an article on this, but Walt Disney is just like frozen.
Oh, I knew that. He's frozen there, right?
Yeah. And
I thought you were talking about other heads frozen in Disney World.
No. He intends to like pull a freaking Nimrod and like, they're going to find him when the Chinese invade in 2126 or whatever, right? When they do their war on terror.
Right.
And come in here and bust
Are we going to be the terrorists? China's going to war on terror here,
Yeah, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, the U.S. Army allegedly recovered Nimrod's body from a museum in Baghdad in 2003. Just look into that. It's freaking crazy. Tied into the Kandahar Giant stuff. Like, why were we actually over there? Not to mention all the poppy. Anyway.
Right.
Back to Antarctica. Or back to the Germans. So, the U.S. heavily interested and eventually, over the course of like 15 years, melded and meshed and fused with Nazi scientists.
Yeah.
That's not a conspiracy theory. That's freaking true.
Yeah.
That's
mainstream true.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the Von Braun Center in Huntsville, like you
Yeah.
said when you were talking about that, they got a whole auditorium named after him. You know, his tombstone famously says Psalms 19:1, "So the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament declareth his."
He's probably just a good Christian guy.
Showeth his handiwork. Yeah,
Right.
just a good Christian. You
Yeah.
got the 9/11, and then just telling you revelation of the method. I don't know if he was a Mason, but it wouldn't surprise me at all, or whatever German Masons are called.
Nazis.
Man, actually, you know, probably or Bavarian Illuminatis.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
Illuminatites. What do you call multiple Illuminati people?
Illuminates?
Illuminates. I like that one. We'll use that. He was an Illuminite.
Loomies.
So again, all kinds of crazy occult stuff.
Yeah.
All verified facts. All happening in and around the time of basically the beginning of the 20th century, first half of the 20th century.
Okay.
Starting with the Nimrod expedition up until Operation Paperclip, High Jump, and Operation Windmill, which is the sequel to High Jump. So, with all that in mind,
Okay. That was a long prequel, but okay.
well, think about it. We just got to set the stage.
Yeah, no, I'm okay.
The idea being,
You're fine.
hey, we went up, we went out as far as we could.
Now we're going to go up.
Exactly. We realized, hey, we can't get out. We'll get our head chopped off in a windmill like this Flammarion, okay, this Italian guy, the Mr. Flammarion.
Okay.
We can't do that.
Yeah.
So now what are we going to do?
So pause. The idea being almost like in like New York City or I mean even for us like Nashville here somewhere. We've tried to spread out as much as we can. There's nowhere good to spread out anymore because you know there's this dome around the earth, right? Now what the dome, you know, looks like or may be like, that's another topic entirely. You're saying, you know, superfluid dome. And so, now that we've exhausted our attempts to try to spread out any farther, because, like, you're saying they were already aware of, like, the idea of flat Earth at this point, even though that's recently popular.
Oh, dude, that is an absolute myth, the idea that flat Earth is a recent thing. I mean, they've had Cyclic astronomy since, like, the freaking 1880s.
Don't know what that is.
It's mainstream English, like Samuel Rowbotham, Lady Blunt. There's all kinds of flat earthers, even in the Gilded Age. You know, early modernity, you'd call it. Like at the times, the times of freaking like freaking Garfield, you know, or you know, in America, or you know, Victorian, late Victorian.
Okay.
Times. And like every culture, every single culture was flat Earth.
Up until
and
relatively recently.
Yeah, so the idea that it's just this 2015 thing, we got a bunch of tards doing it, I mean, that's just a straw man.
Well, I guess my point is...
Not that you're making the straw man.
I have assumed... my assumption has always been, like, people were, you know, very flat Earth up until... I mean, my guess is up until, like, probably the early 1900s, simply because, like, reading wasn't that, big of a thing. The government didn't have as strong of an arm to propagandize people and brainwash people until, you know, Rockefeller and Carnegie and all that.
Right.
So my assumption is it gained in like a regular, what a globe model gained in popularity around the time that we co-opted the education system.
Yes.
And now we're seeing kind of the flare. A lot of people are switching over to a flat. That's the only point I'm making.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like like a bell curve almost.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
Maybe not that exact, but
yeah. So we've tried to spread out as much as we can, but we can't go any farther because we're stopped by the wall, the dome, whatever you want to call it. So kind of like you would in the middle of a city, there's nowhere else to go but up.
Exactly.
Kind of like they did with the Tower of Babel.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
that's
it's the same
why
concept.
I started
the two.
with
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And keep in mind, and you know, it was a good description and summary, but it's like, I don't know, you made it sound like it was just like, oh, we're just happening. Maybe it was. Maybe they didn't. Who knew? Who knows what knowledge these people have? How long were, you know, if you believe it's fallen angels running all this, how long were they chained? What did they know? What didn't they know? The elites I'm talking about. So I don't know. It could be that they were just discovering all of this. Could be that they were having to they were doing all this to show those with ears to hear. You could debate forever about the philosophy of that, whether there's revelation and method. It doesn't really matter. We're just trying to point out the weirdness of it. So as you said, time to go up, right? Like they did in New York City. You go up. So we've got two things here. NASA, obviously. Even before NASA, so NASA was founded in 1958. And to go along with, I need to, fun aside, guess what else was founded in 1958?
What else?
DARPA.
Oh.
Our best boys, the Defense Association Research Project Agency.
They invented the internet.
Right? They steer hurricanes. They're fixing to destroy Jamaica, which is unfortunate. That's fixing to happen. DARPA's doing that.
Is there a hurricane somewhere out there?
Don't believe me? Guess what kind of smart city's coming to Jamaica in 2030? Oh, there's going to be a hurricane, destroy half of Jamaica to make way for. That's real. It's freaking same thing as Helene.
Oh, they're planning a smart city there? Son of a bitch. Yeah, they're for sure steering a
hurricane. And it's like the biggest
Jamaica.
Category 5 hurricane in the history of Jamaica.
So we're just going to destroy an island so we can build a smart city there.
DARPA does that kind of stuff.
They do, yeah.
Founded the see our episode on weather modification.
Yeah,
that was
that
actually
out.
Decently hashed out. So that was founded the same year as NASA. All kinds of different probes going up. We've heard of the Russians did Sputnik, right? That was the famous first thing allegedly in their
space race.
Right, and started the space race in Earth's orbit, which I'm starting to come around on Earth's orbit. I think you actually can orbit the Earth. It's not what you think it is, though. But anyway, they sent the first thing up in Earth's orbit.
When was Sputnik? Can we find that out, John?
Right around this time. It's probably 1956 or something. Very similar time frame.
Be curious. Yeah.
Maybe 61. Early 60s, dude. Late 50s, early 60s. It's an N. It's Sputnik. 57.
Okay.
So
57.
right before NASA started, the Russians have thrown this ball up there. Dude, how do they know anything? This is a freaking. I've said it before. Take David's slingshot. All right, get your Game Boy Color. Go on top of Mount Everest and shoot the slingshot. That's what this is. How the heck do they?
What?
This is shooting a Game Boy off of Mount Everest. How the heck do they know anything from this?
You're shooting Sputnik up
Yes.
into space.
Yes.
Is the same as slingshotting your Game Boy off of Mount Everest.
Yeah, this doesn't mean anything. It's a bunch of codes on a computer that's the size of a college, a humongous college. Anyway,
I don't think it's that big. But.
they're freaking size of multiple basements, aren't they? These computers in the 50s. They're huge.
Well, yeah, I don't think Sputnik was that big.
No, I was talking about the computers.
Yeah.
Sputnik was like a freaking basketball.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
I should have.
I thought you were saying Sputnik was the size of a college.
No.
I was like, I don't think so.
The computers that told them that it was in space was the size of freaking a $20 million yacht.
Yeah, computers the size of a gym.
Yeah.
That had the same, supposedly had the same computing power as a Game Boy.
I know, yeah. And your iPhone is 50 million times better than that. It's just a joke what they tell us is what I'm trying to do with hyperbole. But anyway, so Sputnik, same time. And even in the 60s, even before we went to the moon, allegedly, they were sending stuff to Venus. They were sending stuff to Mars. They were throwing everything up there, naming it.
Yeah.
What does Sputnik mean, John? Can you look up the etymology of that?
I think it means, in Russian, I'm pretty sure it means space potato.
Really?
No. No.
That's hilarious. It's hilarious.
That'd be Sputnik.
Traveling companion.
That's pretty close.
Interesting. A root for the word path or way. Huh. Well, around this time, we're throwing stuff up, allegedly.
Yeah.
Right? After being obsessed with that. Dude.
Robert. Literally to mean fellow traveler of the earth.
Oh, yeah, man. That's a Mason thing right there. Masons are traveling men. They jerk each other off. They tell each other that all the time.
It's a little weird.
I don't forget what degree that is, but that's one of the degrees is a traveling man. Maybe it's 12 or something. So there you go. They're all freaking Masons throwing stuff up in the air. We've got exoteric explanations for esoteric coffin banging bullcrap. That basically sums up my entire beliefs on everything. But anyway, let's get back to the point. So they're throwing stuff up there.
Okay.
I forgot one important detail. So in 1960, what happens? around the same time as NASA. Keep in mind all this Antarctic stuff. They signed the Antarctic Treaty. That's pretty important detail I left out.
Which is a weird treaty. We can do a whole ep on that if you like.
We could, dude. We probably should. So, keep in mind, you had to hide under your desk. Russia's going to show up with a backpack and a sickle and a hammer and nuke the whole freaking eastern Idaho. Okay? They're gonna nuke western Pennsylvania, and you know how you're going to live? Go under your desk. Cold War, man. This is what I'm talking about. Propaganda. America hates Russia, except in Antarctica. Because in Antarctica, Russia and America agree. You know who else agrees? Freaking North Korea. Yeah. Everybody signs this treaty. Everybody operates under this treaty. It is a arm and a leg times 20 billion to try to go against this treaty. People that do, we talked about it, I don't know, within the past 3 months, that Chinese guy or that Asian guy who flew his plane
who just tried to fly to Antarctica.
Right.
And got detained permanently in Chile or something.
Yeah. Yeah, he got out of there. Look up Jarl Andevoy. He was, again, sorry, I'm white from Murray County. I'm probably saying that really bad. But Jarl with a J, Andevoy, he was a Norwegian guy who sailed his boat down there with a crew and then got turned away from McMurdo Station at gunpoint. Whoa, what you need a gunpoint? Yeah. They got demon penguins down there? What you got guns for? I thought we were just down there.
Gotta watch out for those vampire penguins.
Right, petting penguins and drilling ice. Yeah. No, man, dude. Every country in the world agrees on this. Look up how many freaking bases are there. It's like freaking 100 bases.
I will say, and I'm not a fan of this whole, it's weird. I don't have an answer, but it's weird. That one's too weird to ignore. Like, the fact that all of these countries who are sworn mortal enemies, North Korea and the U.S.,
China,
friggin' China, Russia,
Taiwan,
all hate each other. We're all blowing each other up and giving money to each other's enemies. But the one thing we can be like, no, I think you're right. I agree with you. Is let's keep everybody out of Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no real good reason to stop people from going there that makes sense from a mainstream perspective. And so what's going on there? What are you hiding?
Oh, but Carson, you can go. You could spend $75,000 on a cruise, right, where there's a bunch of Karens eating shrimp.
Right.
Okay, where the tour company owns one company owns 4 tour companies. It's all the same, and you got to wear a specially coated boots, and everybody wears the same freaking, and you got to rub your boots and stuff, and everybody wears the same coat, and they're posted up with freaking guns, and you can't leave X area. Of course,
that's the weird part with these expeditions to these cruises to Antarctica or the Arctic.
North Pole, same way.
Yeah, it's like you can go, but we're gonna make sure you don't step out of line.
Yeah,
that's weird. If you take a cruise to Jamaica, if you don't make it back to the boat, you don't make it back to the boat. Sorry, I guess you're stuck in Jamaica.
Yeah.
If you do that in Antarctica, which I mean, granted, it is a little bit different. I'm sure there's just not a hotel you can go stay at, but
well, it actually is.
Oh, well, there you go.
That was a whole big thing last year.
Point being, we're making sure you come back with us. You don't have a choice.
I know,
we're
man.
Making sure you get on the boat with guns.
Yeah, it's freaking wild, dude. It's
that's too weird to ignore.
Super, super heavily controlled.
Yeah.
But
it's for your safety. Everything's for your safety. And that, not to get off on a tangent and get frustrated, but that's how we rob you of your freedoms and the ability to actually think for yourself. It's not for your safety. It's to make you comply. So, yeah.
So why don't they do that in freaking Yellowstone?
That's what I'm saying.
Freaking Glacier National Park, where people die every single year wandering off being going, places without water, getting crushed by a rock, eaten by a moose or whatever happens over there.
Yeah, well, I think they're starting to try to. You're hearing about this in Canada with the wildfires. People are getting fined for just going off into their land in the middle of nowhere. And I think the idea is not only are we keeping people from seeing the truth about the reality we live in when they go to Antarctica or go to the Arctic, but the more people get out and away from cities, from the humdrum of regular life, from the mind control of their television set, and engage with nature and reality, the more they're going to wake up to the actual nature of reality.
Yep.
Right? And if we can stop people from doing that, if we can keep people in their high-rise apartment without a yard, where they can't have friends over, where they can't have a family, then we're going to create a new generation, a new class of just nihilistic drones.
Yeah, that's what you want most people in, right?
Yeah.
And for the people that don't accept that, give them a place to go. Give them a little bit of their slice of cheese. Don't give them the whole platter, but let them go a little bit. Tell them, hey, we've already explored all this. There's a ton of ice, but you can see this cool, this cool continent at the bottom of the world.
Right.
Give them just a little bit. Give them enough truth to keep them satisfied, to keep them ignorant. Yep. Right? For the people that even care that much, because most people, like you said, or as you described, that the nihilistic first wave. But so that's really important detail. So basically, we're going back to this timeline that I'm trying to establish here, this picture I'm trying to paint.
Yeah.
We're done with Antarctica.
Like they did in Antarctica.
We're bringing it full circle. Like they did with their inks and their quills when they're allegedly freezing to death and they're freaking drawing in a hut. In Bathbia. They can't just name it Tales of an Expedition. They got to call it some kind of occult god.
Yeah.
So, we're done with Antarctica. We're throwing stuff up in the air. We're sending stuff to Jupiter. Sending stuff to Mars. Sending stuff to Venus. And Kennedy says, we're going to go to the moon in this decade, and we got this whole space race.
Not because it's easy.
NASA, full propaganda mode. Right after the Antarctic Treaty, we start to go up. A quick aside, so the precursor to NASA was NACA, but it kind of fused with the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which is where the Nazis come back into this and the occultists. So we've mentioned them a few times on this podcast before, that they have telescopes and stuff there and freaking lasers or whatever. Who knows? Who cares? But the Jet Propulsion Laboratory was founded in 1936 by a guy named Jack Parsons. Okay, now this guy was I wrote this down too, because this is one of the founders of one of NASA's main arms currently, the Jet Propulsion Laboratories. Look it up. They still do all kinds of stuff. We looked up the budget one time. Outrageous. A main arm of NASA, a main component. So Jack Parsons was Aleister Crowley, okay, for people who don't know him. He was a infamous demon worshiper, occultist, devil worshiper. Right?
Aleister Crowley.
Yeah, Aleister Crowley. Jack Parsons was his right-hand man. All right, and Aleister Crowley.
Really?
He really looked it up, dude. I'm not freaking crapping you. They were best friends. Aleister Crowley.
Famous Satanist Aleister Crowley.
Yeah. Look it up, John. Look it up here.
No, I believe you. I'm just incredulous.
Yeah, Jack Parsons was one of his best friends and his right-hand disciple, head of Order Tempo Orientis, his freaking religion or whatever.
Yeah.
Or one of his, titles of his religion of Philemon or whatever. I mean, this guy did all kinds of evil sex magic, allegedly summoned a demon, and drew a picture of it through some kind of sex magic ritual, some of the most evil, vile, despicable stuff in the world. All happening in freaking Hollywood.
Yeah.
And he drew a picture of it, and it said its name was Lamb, and it looked like a freaking alien gray.
Gosh.
This is all freaking real, okay? And Jack Parsons, the founder of Jet Propulsion's Laboratory, JPL, JP for Jack Parsons, his right-hand man, and he was also best friends with L. Ron Hubbard.
Of course.
All right?
L. Ron, not L. Rond.
Whatever.
He's not a Lord of the Rings character.
I think of the freaking Mr. Smith, Agent Smith.
Yeah, right.
What's his name? Help me.
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving, yes.
Yeah.
Elrond from Lord of the Rings. Love that guy. Love The Matrix. Love Lord of the Rings. But no, not him. The founder of the Church of Scientology, which, as we all know, is freaking crazy.
This NASA scientist who should be an atheist because that's science.
What even is Scientology? Tom Cruise? Tom Cruise is Scientology's Jesus? That's all I know about it. Right?
Yeah, I don't understand. I've never tried to read whatever that book is that is the Bible of Scientology.
In the
supposedly weird as
late 1950s, okay? Keep in mind, this is all happening at the same freaking time. So L. Ron Hubbard, John, if you go up there and type in L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons, the last thing I want to mention before we go on to the last final hurrah, So they were friends. All right, AI says it's got to be true, right?
Yeah.
So they did this thing like called Babylon working, a series of occult rituals, right, which were sex magic rituals. When they say occult rituals, they're like doing all kinds of crazy sex stuff.
Who did these? Jack Parsons and
And
L.
L.
Ron
Ron Hubbard.
Is this a book they wrote?
No, it's a freaking series of occulted crap. I mean, it might be papers. I don't know.
Series of acts? Like are these things they were doing?
These things they were doing, like evil sex stuff, just out in the open.
Ugh.
Yeah, in Hollywood. There's like interviews with women that were involved with it, too, like later.
Jeez. All right.
So this guy, Jack Parsons, is the founder of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, one of the main arms of NASA. John, can you type in Jet Propulsion Laboratory just so we can get in context of how important this is to NASA? It's in California somewhere. Good. Bro, laboratories, dude. Yeah. So there's 5,500 people that work here. You know,
Good heavens.
This founded by this evil occultist guy.
Okay.
Okay.
What is their budget? Like $1 billion a year? Or something?
Yeah, we looked it up. How much money do they get a year, John? I wonder how much percent of NASA it is. It's a bunch.
2.4 billion
2.7. Yeah.
to 2.7 billion.
Yeah.
So a lot of money.
Yeah, a freak ton of money, dude. But Trump might be stopping it, right? Because Trump's gonna cut the government.
That's right. Elon Musk.
So, what are a bunch of scientists doing with all these freaking occult demons? I thought this was about science.
Right.
Every single thing they've ever named have been foreign gods. That's you. If you deny that, you're in delusion. Now you could say, "Oh, it's just creative expression,
just mythology."
Right. Well, why does that matter? We're scientists.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you just name it SC45 23.0 and move on?
Yeah.
Right. Why does it have to be Apollo? Right. Why does Apollo have to have 12 disciples of the moon and one who betrays? Why does you have to freaking call Jupiter Jupiter? You know. Why they're all, Ganymede. Just name your Greek name and Roman name, your pagan god. It's there. It's there. And it started with the chief of them all, Nimrod expedition to Antarctica, dude. NASA is a continuation of the Tower of Babel. The word NASA is a Hebrew word that means to lift up. Okay? Now, Hebrew, I am no Hebrew guy. Because they allegedly lift stuff up. But you can rearrange what we would call a dot. If you dot an I, they probably call it hafel or something. They can't just call it a dot.
Right.
But you can move that dot.
Chamal.
Yeah, or an accent.
Yeah.
And no disparaging. Their culture's their culture. But anyway, you can move those dots, whatever they call the jot and the tittles, as it was described in the King James,
Tittle.
right?
Yeah.
In like a different positioning, and you say the word differently. It looks the same, got the NASA.
We move the dots.
But you move the dots, and it's nasha.
In Hebrew.
In Hebrew, right? And that word means to deceive or to beguile, okay? And interestingly enough, that word first appears in Genesis chapter 3. The Satan,
where the serpent enters
serpent,
the garden.
nasha Eve.
Yeah.
They beguiled her, and she ate of the fruit.
All
right. Now, I'm sure you've seen this, but if we look at NASA's logo, right?
Yeah.
It's a forked tongue coming
let's
out of
pull
it.
it up for anybody who hasn't seen it.
Coming out of that serpent. Just NASA logo snake. It'll show up.
I mean, it's right there in front of us.
I mean, it's a forked tongue coming out, right?
Yeah.
Right? A circle of, you could even, there's probably so much occulted stuff in there. When you hear what's the famous thing on all their launches? Besides Houston, we have a problem. Probably the second most famous thing. They're like T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7.
What's your point?
Well, of course, the T-minus is just for time.
Right.
It would never be to us. The NASA's missing a T. It would never be that. That's a conspiracy theory. If you put a T in NASA, you get Satan.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. These people are occult in their origins. You can't deny it. You cannot deny that. It's an endless rabbit hole. We just barely grazed the surface. All right. Now you could argue, oh, well, now it's more science-based, and maybe there were some weird people that started it, but the government's taking it over. We got a bunch of good scientists working there. A lot of that's true. Okay, there's a lot of good scientists working there, diligently trying to do their best for what they believe the world is, but they are in a gigantic Ender's game. They're cogs in a machine that is bigger than their life, that they can't even understand. Again, esoteric soldiers for an exoteric purpose. NASA's the modern-day Tower of Babel. One last thing. Around the same time NASA was founded, the U.S. military, again, this is right after the Antarctic Treaty, Oppenheimer and his boys in Oak Ridge, they were blowing up atoms, dude. Cool science stuff. We can blow up an atom. We can destroy everything. All right, we can't even define an
Set
atom.
the atmosphere on
I
fire.
can't define an atom, but you know what? I can blow it up because this is America. All right, they're blowing up atoms. They started blowing up atoms in the sky. Why? Because of testing. That's all anyone can say. It's because we had to test. But you know what these projects were called? Operation Fishbowl, a specific part of Project Dominic, a series of high-altitude nuclear tests in like the early 1960s, right around the same time as NASA's founded, that were doing all these initial, probes, allegedly to Venus and Mars and all this, blowing up stuff in the sky. You know what Dominic means? That's Latin. It means of the Lord. So they are literally saying, we are trying to blow up with huge bombs the fishbowl of the Lord. These people have been doing the same thing since time immemorial. Started with the Tower of Babel, okay, to attempt to get up to heaven, get into heaven, kill the Almighty God. He stopped it. It seems to be like he may have been worried about it. Enter a time of great confusion with Babel. Who knows how long ago that was? We've got no idea. This was where Tartaria comes in. I mean, it's been thousands of years. Because if we're going by the Bible, there's probably been like 1,000 years between that and Jesus, whatever, 2,000 years. We got no idea. It's so much confusion, but the idea remains that perhaps the evil sources, the fallen angels, were disconnected from their Nephilim offspring, and then just confusion and chaos happens forever. Perhaps fallen angels become re-released, more knowledge comes into the world, turn of the century, about the time of the Great Reset, time of mud flood, time of the new age coming about, this modern era that we're in right now.
Which for people who aren't familiar with those things, you got a lot of research to do, but yeah.
Yeah, just trying to weave in the theory of everything in the conspiracy sense, trying to weave it all together with like the esoteric purpose of NASA and all this stuff that they say were just scientific tests that were just it's just humans being ingenuitive. All right, that's just what we do. We just blow stuff up. We waste $20 million on nukes in the sky for no reason, for testing. What they were actually doing is, can we blow this up with this new technology we have? All right, we tried to go to the end with Nimrod, with high jump, with Byrd. Couldn't. Got our heads chopped off. We tried to go up. Right, we tell the public we're exploring these outer worlds in this endless vacuum that makes no sense, and we're bending time or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. But what we're actually doing, hey, our forefathers, our ancestors, our otherworldly, for lack of a better word, ancestors, they used to live here. Can we get back there? Can we blow this dome up? Can we get into heaven as we understand it in a esoteric term, right? A true depiction or understanding of heaven, not this like random dimension, this ethereal dimension that makes no sense, this Gnostic whirling energy place that's just, heaven is, it's heaven. Yeah. It's like, no, heaven's it's a place. Heaven's up. Beyond the magnetic torus field layer dome, outside of the material world. True. But in a literal spatial sense, you could just freaking go there should you vibrate in the right way, right? They're trying to do it. They can't. They're stuck here. Yeah. All right?
So they're trying to break out, but they can't. And essentially what you're saying.
It's essentially what they can.
Yeah. Still in an effort to
defy God.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at this. What are they doing at CERN? All right, let's pull up one more thing, John. The Kola Super Deep Borehole was some kind of, again, it's just science, dude, right? We have to spend $40 billion to get a piece of the mantle to study so we can know what the climate was like during the Triassic period. That's what they're doing, duh. That's what they're doing. They wouldn't be trying to dig under the earth into hell, into Sheol. They would never be trying to do that. That's a conspiracy.
Yeah,
Right, in Russia, dude, way up in Russia and like west of Finland, so in the middle of freaking nowhere, cold as buttholes, they dug 40,000 feet into the earth. And when did they do it? About the same time as they were sending stuff up, they were digging down. 1960s. They dug so deep that everything they sent down there melted.
Yeah.
They literally could not go any farther.
Right.
So...
Well, it's just because they were getting close to the core of the Earth. It's hot down there.
No, they weren't. If you look at their pictures, they say the crust, even under the freaking ocean where it's thinnest,
it's miles.
it's
deep.
like 20-something miles, okay?
Yeah.
And they dug like 8 miles. How much? I can't do the math. It's it's right there, 7.6 miles.
Right.
So they didn't even dig a third into the crust.
Mm-hmm.
It should be just a bunch of freaking rocks, like shale or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. You know, just a rock. That you can
Rock
just pick
or water at the
Right,
worst. Like, if it can make it through bedrock, essentially, it should be able to keep going down there. Yeah.
They dug
idea.
into, I think they freaking were starting, you know how the as above, so below. The windmill and the side, they were starting to dig into the windmill at the bottom.
Well, weren't
potentially.
there talks about this where they started to hear, like, was it screaming or growling?
Okay, that is.
Was it this?
It was not that was it might have been this, but I know for a fact that was in like guards of like this underground prison in the Euphrates River.
I know that. So they heard like chains rattling.
Yeah, and they like refused to do it, and they couldn't get anybody to do it, and they like abandoned.
But I think I've heard, and we can try to stories about people hearing some kind of either screaming or growling in relation to this, some kind of weird sounds around the drilling. I could be making that up.
I feel like
I'm not conflating it with that. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think now that I think about it, I feel like you're right, because I feel like the chain thing and like the screaming is two different.
Yeah.
There's a whole mainstream article, Wikipedia article on it.
Just conspiracy theory though,
Yeah.
John. Good grief! How
Right.
could you ever?
What was
get
the sound they were supposed to be hearing? Does it say? The legend holds the thing intrigued by this discovery, extremely heat tolerant. Oh yeah, okay. So upon reaching the depth of over 40,000 feet in 1989, geological anomalies were found, although they reported no supernatural encounters. The recording of tormented screams was later found to be looped together from various sound effects, sometimes identified as the soundtrack of the movie Barren Blood. So they heard, again, I'm just assuming this was written to try to, confuse people who heard about this. They supposedly heard tormented screams from the hole they drilled.
Okay, dude, this is crazy. The story was reported to first have been published by a Finnish newspaper. Can't say that. A journal published by a group of Pentecostal Christians from
Can't say that.
L City, a village in the municipality of somewhere in Finland. Rich Butler, Bueller, Ferris's dad, who interviewed the editors, found the story had been based on recollections, blah, 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 blah. When contacting the letter's author, he had hand-drawn some blah, 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 blah. The news, this is where it gets great, man. The newsletter's editor claimed that its origin had been a newsletter called The Jewels of Jericho, published by a group of
Messianic Jews in California.
Oh, man, they got their hands in everything, don't they, man? They really do.
Wow.
Here, Butler, Ferris's dad, stopped tracing the origins any further. I wonder why.
Yeah.
I wonder why I did that.
Turned around at gunpoint, just like in Antarctica.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I didn't think I was imagining hearing about that.
Yeah, dude.
And then there, the change under the
Yeah.
Euphrates.
And U.S. did something similar to this in Oklahoma, I believe. They tried to dig a gigantic hole in Oklahoma. It wasn't as deep as the Cola borehole, but They can't go anywhere, man. They're trapped here.
It certainly seems that way. I mean, how great we're not going back to the moon, right? We went to the moon, and now we can't go back. Because we can't go back.
Because we lost the technology, and it's a painful process to bring it back again. That is a quote from Don Pettit, a real astronaut who's allegedly been to low Earth orbit, allegedly on the ISS, on ISIS, one of the unholy trinity of pagan pantheon coffin bangers. That's what that was his literal quote. All right. Other people have said it's because of the Van Allen radiation belts.
Right.
And when they asked freaking Neil Armstrong or freaking Buzz Aldrin, they're just like, oh, we didn't know about it, so that's why it was okay.
Yeah.
That's literally what they say. We didn't know about that, so that's why we were good. We just got lucky, I guess.
It's different now.
Yeah. Yeah, ignorance is bliss,
Except that thing that supposedly would stop us from would have stopped like any transmissions back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We forget about that. They just called Nixon on a landline in 1972 or 1969. When I go out to my woods and I got one bar and I can't hear nothing, it sounds like robots. If I do get a call, it's like garbled nonsense.
But they can call Nixon from the moon.
Yeah, in 1969. And keep an eye on how fast these people are going. They're going so fast, dude. I mean, it's got 20 trillion vectors. They're going like 20 billion. If you add them all, you add them all together,
you got to add the vectors.
Yeah, I know.
Bunch of vectors.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. No, they are mocking us. They're pissing on us. They're laughing at us. They think we're goyim. And to be fair, I mean, that's halfway right, dude. How can we believe this stuff anymore? It means literally to deceive. It's founded by pagan devil worshippers. That's not a conspiracy. It's a freaking fact.
Yeah, it is.
It's
a
fact.
fact. Yeah.
Okay? And you can just argue that the pure virtue of exploration and science has changed their hearts. For what? Who even defines good in your atheistic nonsense worldview of rocks floating around everywhere? It's chaos. It's the chaos of old, man. The devil, the serpent, the Leviathan, the Rahab, the Egypt. Everybody describes it as the waters of chaos. Even God, Elohim, lifts the world up out of the waters of chaos. This is a tale that is from the beginning. These people are agents of chaos. Their freaking motto in their coffin-banging whack jobs, Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Think about it. Order ab chaos.
Yeah.
Order from chaos.
Right.
They give the plebeians, the worthless goyams, us, the children of God who are made in the image of God and have real power. Those are the people that they leave in chaos, and they create their inverted sicko world in their evil order, in their inverted fake order of God. It's about time we started spreading the truth, waking people up, and fighting back. All right? No, you can't fight an invisible force. What you can do is get to God. Get in the natural laws we talked about 1 billion times, and their power will wane. They need us.
Yeah. As far as... I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think NASA plays a big role in that. And if we can pull up... I want to test this theory out on you. If we can pull up the NASA logo again... Because like we've talked about how it means to deceive, to beguile, and also to lift up, right?
Yeah.
That circle that's obviously supposed to be like a spaceship, right? With the red... I can't even see anything but a tongue now. I don't know what else that's supposed to be.
The forked tongue.
What is it supposed to be?
It's just a comet, dude.
It's a comet. It's the tail of a comet.
It's an artistic comet.
Okay.
They're made of ice. Red ice, apparently.
I almost... the first thing I thought of this time, and I've seen the NASA logo 1 million times, the first thing I thought of was, could that circle be indicative of like a womb? With kind of the forked tongue going into it and impregnating the populace with deception, with,
Yeah.
like...
Yeah, man. I mean,
lies.
Could be, man. And the tip of that freaking rocket, the sperm.
Yeah.
I'm sure it could be. I mean, I'm sure you could even look into the A and the S and find freaking meaning in that. It's never ending. None of the, like, you think about how much freaking like time and effort these PR campaigns go into making their logos and blah blah blah.
Right.
Ramp that up times 200 trillion with the infinite money they have.
Sure.
With their occult, like, starts, like all of these symbols mean things. And again, it's all, they speak in symbols. These people speak in symbols and they speak in coffin banging.
Yeah.
Okay, both, and they have symbols for coffin banging.
Focused on the coffin banging.
322, right? Skull and Bones. But anyway, yeah, man. We didn't even mention that the rocket ship, the Amazon logo, the Blue Origin rocket ship, the freaking, the giant one that was on 65 forever, Interstate 65, for those people who don't know, there's a humongous Saturn V rocket.
Yeah.
The nice word is phallic.
They look like dicks.
It is, of Osiris.
Well, that's
Who
because
is
it's
the
the best shape for flying.
Who is the Egyptian name for Nimrod, also Zeus.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. It's all the same guy. They worship him.
Damn.
Right,
I
Satan-
didn't realize Nimrod was the same
Yeah,
as Zeus. That's
Satan.
interesting.
Satan obviously isn't his name, right? Satan is a Hebrew word that means adversary, accuser, right? About like 20 trillion times in the Bible, it's just used as like, oh, it's a Satan or whatever. Like there is some adversary, and sometimes probably a Satan is
Lucifer.
Right, is who we're talking about, but a few times it's the Satan,
Yeah.
right?
Which is different.
Right. So there's a specific higher adversary, right? And
That would be Lucifer that I'm
could
referring to.
be, yeah. I mean,
Who
and
knows?
huh?
I mean, to the point of that, who knows? Lucifer is also like not a name.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
That's
title,
true.
title.
Yeah, it means like beautiful
Right,
one or
it's the
something,
same
doesn't
as-
it?
It's
Light
the
bearer.
same as
Yeah,
Satan. It's
light
just
bearer, that's what it
almost
means.
a job title
Yeah.
assigned to whatever.
Right.
That
So as to
entity
what
did.
this entity's name is, like, is it Nimrod? It could I mean, maybe Nimrod is the offspring of this entity, right? Like, because the Nimrod's probably one of the offspring of the main guys, because think about it. The gods of old, they came from the Titans. They,
Before we move too far afield here, I do want to make one point. Because we talked a lot about like the stuff NASA said. We've talked about like all the rocket ships and that were going up. For people out there who are having a difficult time like understanding what to believe, because I know this has been true of me. I'm sure this has been true of you. Like you reach a point where you start looking at like the stuff you were taught when you were 8, right? And wondering if you should continue to believe that anymore. I think one of the easiest places to start, because a lot of people in like the truth community have been so vilified, like all these out there don't believe the science, and all you have to do to understand and it's the simplest thing. All you have to do to understand that NASA and any alleged authoritative entity is full of is to hold all of their claims up against one another, right? Like with NASA, we talked about it earlier, like this whole idea of like, we went to space, but now we can't. Oh, why? The Van Allen, but wasn't that there before, Like,
yeah.
just hold their claims up against one another and they never stack up. Now, is that on purpose? Do they have a choice about that, Is that something that's directed by the creator, You've got to leave enough of a gap here to let, the populace understand? Is it the fact that I don't know, we are imbued with enough discernment from the creator to be able to see, I don't know what it is, but like all you have to do is just hold their claims up against one another and you'll see the holes in what they're asking you to believe.
Yeah, man. Even the whole none of this would even be freaking remotely possible to believe if it wasn't for the Copernican principle, which is a philosophical bias towards interpretation of data, right? The Copernican principle is that the Earth is not special or unique. Essentially, it is like any other place out there. Every one of these people, every last one of them, even to people who are otherwise like, as we said before, the deception will deceive even the elect. People from like Answers in Genesis or, Apologetics Press, like we know, who will go X length, like they'll be like, oh, evolution's crap, but all this space stuff, it's got to be space. It's got to be globe Earth. It's got to be, like all of them, every last one of them interpret every single observation with the Copernican principle in mind.
Right.
It cannot be in their mind that the Earth is the center of everything. If the Earth is the center of everything, everything collapses like a house of cards.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Right? That is the philosophical backbone that holds all of this together. And what's its origins? Look up Copernicus, man. He's a Freemason, sun-worshiping, occultist bullcrap. They're all pagan worshippers, man. They are all pagan sun worshippers. It's the same religion that's existed since of old, the same religion that the Israelites fought against in the days of Moses and Joshua. Same people they were killing then are the same people that hate us now. There's a reason God wanted to wipe them out, that you shouldn't marry them, that you shouldn't get their culture, because it'll freaking destroy his creation, dude.
Yeah.
The same wars that are happening in the Old Testament happen right in front of us every day. Every time that Houston sends one of these rockets petering up, to 50 feet and it blows out over the ocean, it's a continuation of the same dang thing, Israelites versus Philistines. I know how crazy that sounds, but the connection is real. The connection is there. They love it. They love they're giving us the pissed on breadcrumbs while they whack off to their real meanings, man. They love it. We are just at such a lower vibration. We used to fight it, man. We used to fight it. Now we don't even know about it. And that's the scary part. Like, how do you even start to reverse that? That's where we have to be, like, times of the end. Think about the Chronicles of Narnia, man. Think about how, like, freaking powerful, even in times of, like, crazy war and, like, Prince Caspian, people were still fighting. At the end, in the last battle, they don't even know anything. Like, the ape can claim to be Aslan, and people don't even know. They can't discern.
Yeah.
Right? For people who haven't freaking read that book, the last battle is set up in like a time of great deception where this like clever ape and a dumb donkey can just claim to be God and like lead thousands and thousands of people astray.
Yeah.
So much so that even Susan, one of the freaking queens of Narnia, doesn't even make it.
Right.
I mean, it's that's what's happening right now. We're at the end. We're at the end. The time of great deception. It's got to be, man. This whole infrastructure. NASA gets $80 million a day or something crazy like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, it's insane, dude. It's insane. For what? What do they do?
They're doing science.
Yeah, we can't even. You can't
Doing
even,
science.
They're
Yeah.
like at least the DOD. At least you can look at a tank and be like, "Hey, that's cool."
Yeah.
Right.
You can
Right.
look at a rocket and say, "Hey, that's cool." Except we're not
Can
building
you?
those anymore.
Can you?
I guess a giant.
You can't
dick
even
by
do.
that, yeah.
Well, you can't even do that anymore. You don't even know what CGI. NASA's the number
true.
one producer of helium in the world. Those rockets take 20 billion years to lift off of the ground. I thought you were putting liquid oxygen in those things. They should shoot up like freaking like Coke and Mentos. But they're like a helium balloon. We don't know what's happening. You can't get within anywhere close to them. They got special agents going out there to get them in the ocean when they drop. And we just sit there with our iPhones going 6, 7, and we're just idiots. We're just idiots, dude. Like, but it sounds all doom and gloom, but.
Yeah, it really does. That was
But,
depressing.
dude, it's not over because it's freaking somebody somewhere. Maybe it's Jesus. Somebody's haggling with God. Abraham talking to God, be like, "Hey, God, don't do it yet. Let me find 50. And God's like, in Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Abraham didn't want God to take it down because Lot lived there, his nephew, right? Somebody's haggling. There's still some people that can wake up. There's still some people that can wake up. Right now, that's happening right now. We're in freaking Westworld, dude. We're in Westworld at the end. And NASA's a huge part of it. One of the major, probably.
I think they're one of the
It's
biggest
the
parts
major
of it.
player.
Yeah.
Because if the only way you sell all of the belief in the system, the only way you sell, faith in, science that people say they have, the only way you sell, honestly, the only way you sell people working corporate jobs.
Yep.
Or, turning on their TVs to watch the news at night, giving a shit about what's going on in Ukraine, or is the only way you sell any of that
To vote.
is if we're on some insignificant rock flying through space and don't mean anything. We're not special. You're not special. We're just here. The only way you sell that is if you don't matter and you're just a cog in a machine.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way you can sell that to people is by pulling the veil, deceiving them, pulling the veil over their eyes, and keeping them from realizing who they are and whose they are, not to sound like my mom. She used to tell me that anytime I would go anywhere. She's like, remember who you are and whose you are. Keeping people from realizing that.
Yeah. You know what happened when I realized that?
You moved out into the woods and grew a big beard?
Could not function. I could not get up in the morning.
Yeah.
I would go to my place of work, and I would realize that I am, like, well, you know, I'm, what's his name? What's the freaking name? Tom, what's Neo's real name in the It doesn't matter. I am Neo, whatever his name was, in that Matrix. And once you've seen the freaking white rabbit, there is no going back. It drove me mad. As you said, I quit my job. I grew a gigantic beard, as our friend, you know, whose birthday is on April 28th, described. He told me I looked like Moses, and I just lived in the woods.
Yeah.
I couldn't function. I couldn't interact. I don't know how the heck I came back. Honestly, that was probably intervention. I don't know. That was a very, very... 2020 was a bad year.
Well, it's weird because you would think, like, with all this stuff that's pushed on us by NASA, by America, by where we live, you know, you would think that, like, from a spiritual perspective, the Creator would give us a much easier way out of all this stuff, but there's not one. Like, you, the way your life is, have to engage with a lot of, like, the corporate nonsense, right? Me, where my life is at, I have to engage with a lot of the, like, corporate nonsense, going to a 9-to-5 job, engaging with a lot of the, like, bad stuff, the deceiving stuff. And I mean, honestly, a lot of days, today included, like, I don't know what the purpose of that is. I really don't.
Well,
not to, like, sound super depressed, but, like, I don't know most days. Like, why am I doing all this?
Dude, let me try to lift it up, man. Like, first of all, very beginning of that, you said, like, the stuff that society pushes, the stuff that NASA push. Dude, these are fictional entities. They can't push anything. Satan is at the top. He pushes it down. Let's not forget, this is a real spiritual war with real entities at the top, really attacking us. To answer your question, how do you deal with it? How do you keep going? You're forced to engage. Come on, Creator. You left me hanging out to dry, right? It seems to be what you're saying, right? Lack of a better word.
I mean,
feeling sometimes.
But it's like, what's the point of engaging with it at all? It's not even a sense of, like, being left, which, I mean, I experience plenty, but it's like, what is, you would assume there's a purpose in having to engage with it. What is that purpose?
Dude,
you know?
The question is old as time. For one, like, and I can only speak for myself at this point. I can't speak for other people. Creator's giving me a way out. Son, number one. Like, go into overdrive. You take all the arrows you could ever take. You die. You raise your son. You give your son the best you can, right? 2, through providence, through freaking luck, through I don't even know, I somehow have managed to acquire real property and am able to, at some level, attempt to live under natural law and build up to that. So that is it's like freaking part of the armor of God described in Ephesians to be able to withstand the wiles of the devil. The wiles of the devil is your day-to-day, your 9-to-5, dude. It's your freaking, it even gets to the clothes you wear, man. It's all of the inversion of the natural world is the wiles of the devil, and we call it society, we call it life, we call it culture. It's not life, society, and culture. It's freaking spiderweb product of the devil, right? Tricking us into making it ourselves because he can't make anything. But how do you freaking deal with it? I mean, you get to God. What does God tell us to do, man? Be fruitful, be multiply, have dominion over the earth. There's your answer, man. You work your freaking butt off or die trying to do it. I mean, and you know, Solomon, the wisest man in the world, fear God, keep his commandments, for this is the whole purpose of man. There's only one thing it goes back to. And we can like it, we can hate it, we can not understand it, we can feel like that's a cop-out. But what other answer do we have? We don't. We freaking don't. If you're being honest with yourself, you don't. The answer that there's no answer, for some people, that's just as nihilistic as a space rock flying through freaking, you know, Chimera Python Comet or whatever they call it, okay? They probably call it Archimedes, Agamemnon, Homer, Comet. All right, they can't. You get my point, right? That the goal of this system is nihilism at all costs. And the only way to avoid nihilism at all costs is to cling to the higher power, even if we don't understand, even if it's frustrating. We are simply limited. We are the hosts. We are. There's
What?
right? In Westworld.
Okay,
we were the creator. We are just limited here on Earth. Okay, perhaps there's ways to be like the host and frickin' level up. All right, maybe that's next season. Okay, I'm serious right now.
These TV analogies.
I joke a lot. I'm not joking at all. Revelation of the Myth.
I understand.
They
you're
tell
not.
us. They tell.
Saying,
this is this is what is
language.
happening. Westworld is what is happening. All right, we're at some point in that timeline. Perhaps we'll level up later. Perhaps who knows? Who freaking knows right now? But we are dependent due to our ignorance in this world. We are dependent on that higher power hope, and that higher power hope isn't just a hope and a prayer and wishful thinking. It's freaking there. It's freaking there. It's undeniable when you like logically analyze stuff. Through logic, it's undeniable, and I mean I'm sure through feeling it is as well. Through certain vibrational breath work, being out and about in the real world. I mean, some of the most spiritual encounters are right in the dark of night when the wind is moving, when you're away from it all. You can feel that there is a God, right? I mean, freaking von Braun himself, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament show. You'd be an idiot. You can't deny it. You can't. If you deny that there's a God, you're lying to yourself, and sickness grows within you. Debauchery, freaking degenerate behavior, everybody knows. It's in your core, all right? It's whether or not you freaking turn to Jonah and just run and run and run from it, or you just at least you try to cling to it. It's really the only power and decision we have. Trying to understand it like is good, also not possible. But it's the thought that, as I've said a million times, it's the asymptotic process, all right? Perhaps we'll understand it when we die. What the heck happens when we die? Will more be made known to us then? I don't know, but I know that because we die, this life means something, and I got to do something. I can't just wallow around in misery. And what I know stuff is important. Why do I know that? Because there's a God. There is no other reason. Why does anything matter? Because there's a God.
You done?
If you want to say something, dude.
No. I mean, I don't have anything to add to that.
I mean, I'm just, we got to be nihilism fighters, man. It's a daily discipline, and it's a lot of fun to joke and screw around, which is fun. But at the same time, we also have to realize that we do have to fight it, man. It's a war for everybody, and it's what men do, right? Think about men with a purpose. What's more anti-nihilistic than a man with a purpose?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that was kind of the point I was making earlier. I think without the overarching concept that you are just a speck on a giant ball, it's hard to justify being nihilistic, Like, I'm nihilistic all day long, but I can't justify it, Like, I can't say, oh, it's fine, because nothing matters. I can be a nihilistic son of a... I'm not saying I am a nihilistic son of a most days, but I know that's bad, right? Because I understand, like, there is a creator, there is a spiritual battle going on here that's a lot deeper than, are we gonna see a shooting star tomorrow? Is there gonna be a comet? Like, it's exciting. Is NASA gonna send another rocket up? I can't wait. I'm gonna come. I understand that there's something more important at play, but if your entire worldview is, I live in a city full of 100,000 people, I work at a job, and I like that job because it gives me money, and I have this little situationship with this girl who lives down the hall. She's kind of cute, but not all that hot. We, get together sometimes and hang out. I have some friends. They come see me on occasion, and sometimes we do stuff, and, I see my family on the holidays, and I live on this ball, and, we're just flying through space, and there might be some aliens coming to see us. We're not sure. Like, how mundane, humdrum, and pointless is that existence?
Yes.
But if that's not the case, and I mean, you make this point all the time, if this place isn't what we, have been told it is, then the script is much different. Then your enduring self, whatever that is at stake, and even beyond that, so is, I guess, humanity? I don't know how much of a role like an individual person has in determining the fate of humanity, but yeah.
Yeah, man. That little talk there just reminded me, like, I'm here at my job. I work, I go, there's this girl. I think about Jesus in Luke, I think it's 17, where he talks about, hey, I'm going into this town and this city to make a profit this year. Look at all the stores that we have in our barns. Think I'm going to build 2 barns, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And at the very end, he's like, you fool.
Yeah.
Tonight, your soul is due from you.
Right.
So.
It's the same concept as in Ecclesiastes, like meaningless, says the everything is, all that shit's meaningless.
Yeah, so we've established that. We've beaten that over and over again. We got to move on. We don't live in that existence. We know better. All right. Perhaps perhaps we're still running subconsciously from that knowledge or acceptance of that knowledge. It's a personal problem. You got to work on that on your own. But if you,
that's a personal problem, bro. Sorry,
dude. I'm serious. You can't change somebody who won't accept reality.
Yeah. No, I understand.
We've seen
your
that
point.
What do we freaking do about it?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do for someone else.
Exactly.
You're right. It is a personal problem. The only thing I would say in this regard is, like, and I said this earlier, I'm about to repeat myself. It's hard to know what to believe out there for most people because you've grown up in a world where all you're fed, all you know are lies, and not only does your understanding of the world depend on those lies, so does your social standing. So does how well accepted you are by your family. So does, how credible the people you work with, are going to think you are. So does, the opinion of your friends in a lot of cases. And so to risk all of that is a lot for most folks, and it's hard to even know where to start or what to believe because you have been lied to so much from a very young age, from the time you were born. And so, at least for me, and for a lot of people I think out there, I don't know, an easy place to start is internal narratives inside of these things you're being told. Like, hold up different concepts from, Western, or not what, but like Christianity, and see if they agree with one another. They invariably will. Hold up different things NASA's told you next to one another and see if they agree with one another. They invariably won't. And I think it's that internal logic that can point you in the right direction. But beyond that, I think that is where you have to, the full stop, where you have to look at the internal logic of these things, like be it NASA, be it, virologists during 2020, be it your own, be it Christianity. But, I mean, your intuition can at least push you in the way you would go, I would think. But at the end of the day, you have to trust the internal logic of these things. Like, are we on a ball going like 86 million miles per 1,000 miles per hour or whatever? How can we prove that? How can we, prove that wrong?
Yep, you said the word that I was going to hammer. Logic. What's logic? It's remnants of God, if you think about it. It's how God operates. It's order.
Logic is order, period.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I think for people who...
He's already given us the tools. Why can people get out at all? He has already given us the way out. It's freaking logic.
Right.
And what do they do when you start questioning? They don't do logic. They freaking appeal to emotion, do they not? Right? They appeal to your sense of You know, I don't want to get rejected by the group, like you were
Right.
saying.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't wanna
exactly.
Be,
Exactly.
I don't want to be ostracized. I'm scared that I may lose this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Oh, people think I'm an idiot? I must be an idiot. They gaslight, all emotional manipulation. There ain't no logic because it can't stand up. That's why people question it in the first place. And
I agree with you there. I think the only problem that happens when people start to approach things that way is that you want to eliminate the emotional feeling side of yourself, of your personality. And I think that becomes a problem at some point when you stop feeling things, you stop engaging with people, because that too is, I think, a remnant of the creator, insofar as like feelings of love, of care, of anger, I think stem from a very spiritual place.
Yeah.
If you're even remotely healthy. And I think without those, you're not going to care what you can logically deduce. It's not going to matter. You're going to wind up in such a nihilistic place. You're probably going to go blow your brains out in the middle of a cornfield somewhere. And so I think the danger there is simply wanting to divorce yourself from the good emotional side of your humanity, your spirituality.
Yeah. Again, that's a person problem.
All right.
I mean, if you're avoiding,
Sure, it's a personal problem, but I think it's one that can be talked about.
well, I'm not saying don't talk about it. I'm just saying, like, what you gonna do about that? I mean, some people are just gonna make that mistake. You know, it just stay close to freaking God, man. The ethos of it all. That's what I say with the Bible, right? That can help kind of mesh the two together to try to keep the important and to allow you to be able to feel, right? Like, because I used to feel the anger of people that are wronged or the bad things that have happened or the injustice of it all, right? And you feel that and you see that and it leads you to like the logical analysis of their claims, you know. But there's
Yeah, to be fair, that's kind of what happened to me with like NASA and a lot of their. I'm like, well, this was spoon-fed to me from the time I was
right.
2.
But you're still
Probably from about the time I was 2, because
Yeah.
I mean, you remember me? I carried around a damn Kingfisher
the
Science
Kingfisher
Encyclopedia from the
Science
time I was
Encyclopedia, man. Yeah.
able to talk. So spoon-fed to me from that age.
Yeah, man.
And so you end up like, I don't know, it feels like you've been almost betrayed. The first time you like re-examine those beliefs, you feel betrayed in a way, yeah.
Yeah, but but it's not God betraying you. It's not freaking your mom betraying you. This is where the logic comes in. You got to sort through. You got to freaking be a Jedi, man. Search your feelings. Sort through your feelings. I'm serious. There's freaking truth in that crap. Don't repress it. Don't ignore it. But you got to sort through it, right? You gotta analyze it. Your freaking mom didn't do it to you, not your dad. You got to analyze. You put the blame where the blame's due. That's how I freaking approach it, man.
And I think we've gotten a little far afield from the idea of NASA, but I think you're right. You've got to give the blame to where the blame's due. I think for regular people out there,
Yeah.
the frustration's going, well, why did God even allow? But that's a whole different discussion. We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah. NASA's just one of the main funnels, dude.
It is, and it's such a big
is.
one that's not ever. I mean, it's talked about in like truth communities, but it's not ever talk. People don't talk about it.
Yeah, because like you were saying, man, everything breaks down, like you were saying, right? Like you can't go to your job. You can't go. Who gives a crap about the Tennessee Vols if the world's flat? All right,
Yeah,
I can't.
right. That's a good point.
All right,
yeah.
I can't audit. I don't care about next week's audit. The world's flat. I don't.
Yeah, you're right.
Are they?
You're right.
They're building a high rise, right? What's that going? I don't care.
Who gives a f- There's a
flat.
dome. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. It's shattering. All right, and even people who may be able to logically understand that, perhaps they won't admit it because of like, this. Jesus said that you'll be despised and persecuted for my name's sake. Puts a whole new meaning to that. It really puts it into context.
Yeah.
Man. It like, you'll find out real fast what he was actually talking about.
Right.
And why people will actually despise you. It freaking sifts the sheep and the goats.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I think you see that in, like, the broader truth community is, like, when it starts to have consequence, people will run away from it pretty damn quickly. And even, like, I noticed that in 2020, and it was, like, a completely different thing, but, like, when it actually, you had to actually take some arrows, there was consequences for actually boldly speaking the truth. People ran away from it. And this is
quite literally in 2020.
Yeah, this is a whole hell of a lot bigger than that because you're actually talking about the fabric of reality as it is. And it's very hard to be willing to, like, boldly stand in the truth in that because the forces that are going to work against that are something we don't understand.
Yeah. So
do-
NASA's
Oh, yeah. What's crazy, we should probably wrap this up soon, but as
Yeah.
John was saying that, like, it kind of hit me like, well, how come it's growing then?
what?
Like this whole idea that NASA's full of crap, the Earth is flat, all that's growing, and
It
it's
is.
starting to hit me like, Gen Z, what do they have to lose?
Yeah.
We're starting to get desperate and just be like, I don't give an F. Hands in the air.
Well, that's the thing.
Which is like
Yeah.
a very pivotal fork in the road where you either can go real bad or go real good.
Yeah. That's why everybody hates the baby boomers. But to a degree, I get why they are the way they are, okay? They're the last generation that had right? They've got to lose. How much do I have to lose? A car with AIDS, an apartment that's falling apart, and that's about it. I don't have anything to lose, so it's not hard to be okay, like, with the idea of losing it because I have less. And so I think it is harder for a lot of these people. I think it is harder for even, like, think of somebody in your personal life who maybe is, like, from a like a mainstream perspective, quote unquote, doing a little better than you know?
Yeah, successful.
Yeah. It's kind of harder for them. That doesn't make it. That doesn't excuse the behavior, but I think it helps people be a little more compatible. But now, whatever generation we are, what millennials, Gen Z, whatever you're like, nobody has anything.
Yeah.
And so, what do you have to lose from actually examining the truth? So what if people don't want to talk to you? They didn't want to talk to you anyway.
Right. It goes one of two ways, man. It goes to this nihilistic 6-7 talk, or I'm just thinking of, like, you can talk about this stuff among young people. I'm just thinking about our interaction on Friday, that past, with y'all's soccer team person. It's like, you could actually talk to her.
Oh, yeah, girl on our soccer team.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I was like,
Well, she's like 25. Yeah, what generation is that?
that's Gen Z, right?
Okay.
It's like, I was just thinking, like, you can talk to her like that because she's young and has absolutely nothing to lose. So therefore, what's the threat on her worldview,
Yeah.
right? So it's such an impressionable time, and that's what gets back to making Trump so freaking powerful, dude. And this whole, like, Turning Point USA, I mean, a little disconnected from NASA, but it's kind of tied into it because this propaganda works best on people with nothing to lose. That kind of propaganda works. I mean, people with NASA works best on boomers, Gen Xers who've got a lot of crap.
People
to
who are
lose,
invested in the
right?
system.
People in the system. People who aren't. That's run its course. Perhaps there's still people that follow this, but the reason that they can do it is because they don't have. So you have to introduce something that gives them freaking purpose, man.
Yeah.
And that's where this new wave of conservatism's coming from. This new wave of nationalism, all same tricks of the propaganda pony, man. I mean,
You make a good point about that.
It's just another freaking sleight of hand, man, to keep the real wheel rolling towards hell.
Yeah.
Probably quite literally, but I don't know.
I don't know. All right. Anything else before we wrap this up? John, you were literally
NASA sucks.
opening
Well,
your
I
mouth
just-
as I was.
I never even, like, connected the point, and, like, you see the rise of this kind of, like, Christian nationalism that's been pushed after Charlie Kirk,
Yeah.
and that makes just a
Total
shitload
sense.
of sense.
Yeah.
And I never thought of that.
Yeah.
It's
All the
like-
people who are invested in the system are going to die off. We've got to find a way for all these people with nothing to buy in.
Yeah.
How are we going to do it? I didn't think that's what we'd end up talking about when we were talking about NASA, but here we are.
But no, I mean, no.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's
it's
a good point,
completely
Murph.
logical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Well, we've been the Veritas Road with a very bleak ending to our discussion with
That's
NASA.
right. NASA sucks. Okay, we'll be back for more crap on the news.
It's fake and gay. You
Yeah,
can just leave it at
NASA is
that.
fake and gay.
That's right. They touch each other in coffins. Like, I'm not even joking, dude. I'm not even joking about that. Just Bush and Kerry. Just look it up.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing. That's a mainstream real thing. All right, folks, catch us next time. Follow our Twitter, because again, it got banned. Check us out on other social media. Like and follow.
Consider donating.
Yeah, consider donating to our.
PayPal QR's on the screen. I don't
Okay.
know why Carson struggles with this so much, but our new Twitter is at Veritas Road
Yeah.
Pod.
that.
Go and follow.
I need to read that
That's
out.
The handle.
I need to write that
Carson forgets
down.
it every time.
Yeah,
It is in the description, but it's at Veritas Road Pod.
yeah. Follow that, please.
Yeah.
Mailboxes to come within the next 5 years.
That's a bold claim. 5
It is a
years
bold
is soon. All right, folks. Thanks for listening. We'll catch y'all next week for on the news.
And tomorrow.
Oh yeah, Touch Me Tuesdays tomorrow. I don't know what we're gonna talk about yet, but we're gonna find out. See y'all then. Bye.